Good afternoon again, everyone. Thanks to everybody who has joined thus far. I am Michaela Peck from the Office of Distance Learning. We're going to begin now. Hopefully, additional persons will join at some point throughout the session. Now, today's session, like all others, are being recorded. As usual, we normally ask for persons to leave their email addresses within the chat section if you do require a copy of the training. And it's good to request one, especially for today's session, as today's session will be somewhat hands-on, a lot of demonstrations. And of course, the recording is good for allowing for just a replay, for you to fast forward, rewind, just to play at your own pace, right? And just for something good to have for future, which can be used alongside practice. All right. Okay. Is everybody able to hear me? If you can just say yes by using the chat or by raising your hand. All right. Thanks for indicating Dr. White Barrel, Dr. Telephone. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thanks, Dr. Facey Shaw and Mrs. Jones Fraser. Okay. All right, so as usual, throughout the session, if it is that you have any questions, you can take the mic, but first I'd ask for you to raise your hand and I'll indicate, and you can enable your mic to speak throughout the session. Would be best if all mics are muted unless you are selected to speak. All right, and also if you prefer to use the chat, for your communication throughout this session, you can do so by clicking on the purple ribbon bottom right of your screen. Once that purple ribbon is clicked on, some icons will pop out. The first icon from the left is a chat bubble, and that option allows you to type your messages. Okay, whatever you type in that section goes to everyone unless you select the name of the person that you want, or type the name of the person that you want to chat with, or unless you select moderator, which would send a chat message directly to me. Okay, so as you can see on the flyer, from the flyer being shown here, today we'll be looking at interactive content, H5P. Has anybody, prior to this session, heard about interactive content H5P? Has anybody had any experience using it, whether it be from a teacher's or student's perspective? If you have, you can raise your hand or indicate yes in the chat or no in the chat. All right, Dr. Facey Shaw, yes. Anybody else? Sis Williamson, no. Okay, anybody else? Yes or no? Have you used or heard of interactive content H5P before? Okay, Mrs. Jones says no. All right, so that's fine. I'm here to tell you what that is. So the H5P in interactive content H5P actually stands for HTML5 package, and this whole interactive content H5P feature is really one that allows for the creation of rich and interactive content, as the name suggests, but content that is also responsive and can be viewed easily and accessed easily on a mobile device. All right, so with H5P you can create and edit interactive videos, you can create interactive presentations, games, advertisements, and much more. The content can be easily exported and imported to our LMS. So for example, Moodle, Blackboard Learn, and other accepted websites, so like WordPress, for example, right? And the good thing about this feature is that it is completely free and it's actually an open licensed technology. Okay. Is this a new feature? Is it new to the Moodle version that we have? No, it is not. So I would say from the introduction of Moodle version 3, and we're at 3.11 now at the University of Technology Jamaica. I think from 3.1 or from 3.0, it would have been a feature that was accessible to us. However, it might not have been installed as a plugin within our LMS. It might not have been seen until about 2 to 3 years ago within our LMS. All right. I know that persons have used it. We have had training sessions, not directly committed to demonstrating what it is, but it would have been something that was shown and spoken about in other training sessions. But as I said before, no particular training session was devoted to this feature or this tool within Moodle. Okay, so I'm going to remove the flyer you're seeing, and I'm going to start with my screen sharing. All right, so you should be able to see my screen in a matter of seconds. Good. Okay, so as per usual, for trainings, we use a demonstration course. Okay, so this is an empty course that we'll be using for today's session. Now, as you would know, to add any type of content to your Moodle page, you have to turn editing on. It's the same thing for when you're using the H5P feature. Editing has been turned on, I know, because the button here says turn editing off. Okay, so turn editing on, you click on this button while it says turn editing on. To do the reverse, you click on the turn editing off button. Now, when we click on add an activity or resource, I'm working on the topic 1. When we click on that link, within the activities option, we see H5P. Okay, so H5P is right here. And if I click on the information for H5P, it tells you what the abbreviation is for, which I just mentioned, and it lists that you can create interactive content such as videos, presentations, multimedia, questions, quizzes, games, and more. And it gives additional information. It also says that the grade a student receives from an H5P activity is recorded in the grade book. If you want more information on this particular tool, you can click on more help. So I'm going to go back. All right, and I'm going to click on H5P to add it as an activity. Good. And the first thing it asks me for is a name. So I'm going to call this test H5P activity. Good. We can give a description to the students, let them know what this activity is about. And when we reach to this section for uploading, it says package file. All right, so if I click here, it is going to show me several options from the file picker, right? But in the content bank is actually where all H5P activities are stored. This is where they're housed. The only space within which your H5P activities are housed is within the content bank. And of course, don't mistake it for the question bank. The question bank has to do with quiz creation and the creation of quiz questions. The content bank is a new feature, as said before, new to the 3.0 version of Moodle that you would be seeing in your course, and it is often mistaken for the question bank. Now, the H5P activities or content are not automatically placed here by the system. They have to be created by you. All right, but let's say we had them created, which we do have some created here. You would simply click on it, select this file, scroll down, and save this content. Okay, so I'm not going to save, I'm going to cancel, because I want to show you how you access the content bank and how you actually get interactive content in the content bank. I also want to show you the wide list of content, interactive content types that you can create using this particular feature. To access the content bank, we're going to be using the administrative block, which is to the left here. So I'm going to scroll down until I see content bank. So that's the 5th option from this section here. I'm going to click on it. And within your course, it will show you what interactive activities you have existing at current. All right, and these 5 are highlighted because, as you would have seen from the flyer advertised in the broadcaster, you want to look at the interactive book, interactive videos, image hotspots, drag and drop, and flashcards. So we want to zoom in on the creation of these popularly used interactive content types. Now, what I'm going to show you first before I do a demo of what these look like is how you can add and just the list of interactive content types that we have. So when I click on add, it shows all the H5P interactive content types. We have accordion, advent, arithmetic quiz, audio recorder, chart, collage, column, course presentation. You see I have to be skipping over them. Dictation, documentation tool, essay, drag and drop, hotspots, find the words, flashcards. It's a long list. Interactive book, interactive video, memory game. You have multiple choice questions, personality quiz. You have questionnaire, sort the paragraphs. You can integrate a Twitter user feed, and the list goes on. All right, so quite a number of options, and we have picked 5 out of these, out of this listing to focus on. Now, the first interactive type I want us to view a demonstration of is the interactive book. Now, before I show you, the concept of the interactive book is really similar to that of an ebook, right? But with much more integration of interactive content types such as audio, videos, quiz questions, hotspots, and more. And of course, this can be done on multiple pages, but in a neat and a compact manner. So I'm going to be demonstrating this interactive book. Just going to click on it. Okay, and going to click on read and do a full screen so we have a better view. Okay, so this is what an interactive book looks like. All right, so the page that we just saw, that was the first page, or the book cover rather. All right, and it allows for text, it allows for image, it has a hotspot here. If I click on this, right, it brings up information on what cultivation is about. Can click to close. I can scroll down, it allows for tables, and of course it allows for quizzes. Okay, our second page, raspberries, has video, so you can grab, of course, raspberries, YouTube videos, or if you have your own video, these can be integrated on the page. All right, you can have colored text, fill in the word. This is a drag and drop. Well, this is a fill in the word quiz type. Okay, so students can input their answers. Very interactive. Check, right? It shows you what is correct, what is incorrect. It has options for showing of solutions, or the student can retry, right? And our final page here, blueberries, text, table, and a quiz. Okay, so what you would realize is that to the left, we have a menus option. All right, top left shows us the name of the book. If I click on the 3 lines top left, it toggles the navigation menu. So if I choose not to see that as a student or the lecturer, I can remove. Okay, and I would click in each section. It shows me the subheadings under each section. Right, and at the end I can look at the summary in terms of what I did, how well I did, what was my progress as a student throughout this particular interactive book. Right, there's also another way to navigate. When I scroll down, there are arrows for previous and next. All right, and it shows me how many pages are there as well in this book. So I can click to jump to next page, scroll down, click to jump to next page, or if I prefer, as earlier demonstrated, I can use the menus option. Okay, now how do I go about, okay, no problem, sure, Mrs. Francis. Okay, now how do I go about creating something that looks at least close to this? And as lecturers, you might already be able to see how this type of setup in terms of content presentation might be useful for your students based on the type of information you want to present to them. All right, because the use of Word documents or PowerPoints or PDFs might not be best for everything in terms of what you want to present to the students, as well as what I like about the interactive book within the H5P interactive content toolset is that when you want to modify, you just come back to this space to modify PDF or PowerPoint. You have to make the modifications on your computer, delete what is there, and re-upload. As it relates to this particular feature, everything can be done within Moodle. And you can also copy and paste from an existing Word document or any other word processing document that you have. Okay, now what we are gonna do, we are going to, so we're still in the content bank. We were just previewing the interactive book, which is the first content type we're looking at. We're going to look at how we can create an interactive book. To do that, we click on the add button, scroll down to interactive book all the way down. Once found, you click on it. Okay, and I have a Word document here which I will be copying and pasting text from. All right, just for quickness for today's session. Okay, so I am going to call my interactive book. So when I click on add, the first thing it prompts from me is a title. So I have to give this a title. Okay, so I said before, I'm going to be copying and pasting from this. So my title for today is Technology for Teachers, 21st Century Classroom. Okay, and I am required to give my first page a name. All right, so remember the first page that we had seen was a book cover. Okay, so let me just show us that again for the interactive book. I don't know if we had missed it. Okay, so this is the book cover. So this is the first thing that we see before we actually got into the book. Okay, so if I wanted to add a book cover, I could select enable book cover, and it's a cover that shows information regarding the book before access. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and if I click on cover page, I can add a wonderful image. I can add a cover description. So I'm just going to add a description. Remember, we're copying and pasting. So I'm going to Control V to paste, and I'm also going to add a book cover image. All right, so I'm going to click on the add button here, and I'm going to find an image, and that is what my image looks like. All right, so what I did, I enabled the book cover, entered a cover description, and entered an image. So now time to populate the pages within my book. Now my first page does not have a name. It says untitled. Okay, so I'm going to call this first page laptops. Good. So I'm going to paste. And the first content type I want to add is a banner, because I'm trying to beautify my page. Now a banner is an image type. So from the content list here, I'm going to scroll down. I'm looking for image. I'm going to click on it, and it provides a button for me to add the image I want to add. Okay, so I'm going to click on add, and I have a banner image here. I'm going to double click on it. Okay, and if I want to show an alt text, which is an alternative text in the event that the banner is not displayed, I could simply type banner. Okay, we are going to scroll down and add more content. The only thing we have in this book thus far is the banner for the page, for the first page. Okay, so I'm going to click to add more content, and I am going to add text. Okay, so from the content drop down list, we're looking for the option text. And whenever you click on the content type you want, a box appears below for you to populate that content type. So we're looking at laptops. I'm going to grab this text, Control C to copy, back to Moodle, Control V to paste. Okay, so that's all I want on my first page. Good. To add my second page, we're looking at the column here, the menu column. I'm going to click on add page. Good. And my first page, let's look at it, laptops. It has the banner image. It has the text content. We're on to our second page. And this second page, we're going to call it smart boards or interactive whiteboards. Okay, and for consistency, I'm going to add my first content as the banner image. So I'm going to click on image, add, double click banner, and scroll down. All right, this time the next content I want, so let's give the alternative image, the alternative text a name, banner. All right, the next content type I'm going to be adding is, so I want to add text and a video. Okay, so I'm going to click on add content. From the content types, I'm going to click on text, back to my Word document, to copy, Control C, Control V to paste. Good. And I am going to add content again because I also want a video on this page. There's no possible way for me to integrate a video using the text content type. So I have to add content again and select the content type I want, which is video. Good. So I'm going to grab a link from this Word document. I'm just going to grab this video link here. It's a YouTube video. Okay, and I'm going to give the title a name. So I'm going to call this Educational Technology in 21st Century Classroom. Good. And where it says video sources, I'm just going to click on the little box to add the file. If you have a video on your computer, you can click here to upload it. If not, you can enter the URL for the video by copying it, right click, paste. All right, and for those who wouldn't understand, when you go to YouTube, right, let's say this is the video that you want to use. If this is the video that you want to use, you would copy the URL, which is in the top web address section of the page. This is all I've copied, but I had it in my Word document before. All right, so you'd copy it, go back to Moodle, and paste it in this space. All right, once you have done that, you click on Insert, and we have text and video in our second page. We're going to add one more page, a third page. All right, so add page. And on this page, we're going to add text, image, and a multiple choice question. Okay, so once more, we're going to give this page a name. So let us call this page, let's go back to our first page. Let us call this page tablets. Good. Control C, Control V to paste tablets in the title. And remember, the first content type would be image since you want to use that banner. So we click on image, add the banner image we have been using from page 1, and the alternative text with the banner. Scroll down. We want to add content, right? So text again. Let's copy the tablet text that we have here. Control V to paste. All right. Remember that we also want to add an image. So add content on the same page. From the content type, click on image. Okay. And we're going to add, just going to choose a random image from here. Okay. We have to give alternative text as well for the image. So I'm going to say image showing tablet device. All right, and you can also add a hover text. This basically means that when your student hovers on the image, a text is displayed. Okay, so I'm going to put tablet devices. Okay, even though it's not a tablet device, but the page name is tablet. Okay, all right, and then finally you want to add a multiple choice question. So this is perfect for recall. So this is the last page. What has the student learned thus far? You want to quiz them to see if they have received anything in terms of knowledge thus far. So add content. From the content type, we're going to look for multiple choice. Okay, and I am going to call this question 1 as a title of the multiple choice question, just like when you're in Moodle and you are doing the quizzes. All right, the question would come here. So I'm going to grab from my Word document, Control V. All right, and the options, it says available options, would come here. So I'm going to copy again, Control V. All right, and if this is the correct option, you would simply tick it so the system can know. We have options for tips and feedback. If you want to give a hint for the student, you can enter it here, but it will appear to the student, of course, before they are able to check their answer. All right. If you want to leave feedback, so if you want this to be a message to be displayed if this answer is selected, you can enter that message here. If you want to display a message if the answer is not selected, you can enter that there as well. All right, so you can enter tips and feedback. Okay, so this is not the correct answer, so I'm not going to take this. I'm going to move down to the next option. Okay, Control V to paste. This is not the correct answer either, so I'm going to move down to add another option. Okay, and this one is the correct option, so I am going to click on correct. Okay, and in the feedback section I could put you have selected the correct response, and then you could give additional information on why this is the correct response, and same if it were not. Okay, all right, so we are going to now scroll down and save, because if we scroll up we would see that we have 3 pages: laptops, smart boards, and tablets, and that's all that we want. Okay, so we're going to scroll down, save, good, and this is how it is displayed, because remember we created a book cover. All right, so I'm going to click to read, and of course you can full screen the book by clicking on the full screen option here. And this is what the inside of the book looks like. So this is the first page. We have more many options to the left here. Remember that we can also use the navigation buttons to move back and forth. Right, so I'm going to click on next. This is our little banner with our text. This is our video, or YouTube video that we placed on the page. Right, we can move on to our next page, which shows the banner, the text, the image, and then our little quiz question for the student. All right, so they would select the response, click on check. Okay, and the feedback that we entered appears. You have selected the correct response. Okay, and the final page is summary and submit. So it shows 100% book progress because they went through all pages and they attempted the question. Right, and it shows that for the question the student received a score of 1 out of 1. So overall the interaction progress is 100%. Okay, all right, so that's basically how you create the interactive book. Do we have any questions before we continue? All right, I'm seeing all the chat messages for the video to be sent, the recording to be sent. Do we have any questions before we move on to our next interactive content type?
A quick question, Miss Peg. We are able to put MCQs as a way of assessing if the student has gone through the full content of the book. Is there any way we can use more of, like when you do forums and you ask them to give a comment on something, more of a discussion, like a phrase, sentences, some
Right, more like essay type.
yeah, like comment, yeah, like even a 2
Right.
sentence or so.
Yeah, so that is a possible option as well. So you can, so multiple choice is just one of the many. There are other content types that you can insert within the book.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, no problem. So let us say, so this is a book I had. Let us say I wanted to edit the book to add other content types or other types of quiz questions. I could click on edit. So it takes me back to where I'm coming from. All right. So let's say on the third page, under where I have the MCQ, if I wanted to add another content type, I could click on add content, click on my drop down, all right, and there I'm just looking for the option that allows for, so there's an option for summary, right? So if you want to input that, you can input that as well. We have question set, single choice. We have true and false, true or false questions. All right, we have guess the answer, so quite a number of different ones that we can insert, but it just requires your exploration based on the type of question you want to give to the student. Okay. All right, do we have any other questions before we move on? Okay. All right, so as it stands, this book is just in the content bank. So students really can't access it because it was not placed in the course on the course page. Okay, so if I click on content bank, this is where it is, and it's not useful if students can't access it really. And the beauty about the content bank as well, another good thing about it, kind of works like the question bank, where you can have multiple interactive content types and you choose when you want to issue them to the students. You can prepare them before, you can have them here, and you can choose when you want to place them in the course. Now, before we move on to our second interactive content type, I'm going to show you how you can have this on the course page for students to access. I'm going back to the main course page, and I am going to click to add an activity or resource. So if I click on, let's go to resources. If I click even on label, and of course a label resource type allows students to see content directly on the course page. Most resources that I click or activities, it has the H5P option. It's right there. All right. I said before, with the label, it would show the book directly on the course page. So if I click on insert H5P, and I click on browse repositories as part of the content bank, my interactive book would be shown. I could click on it, select this file, insert, scroll down, and save. All right, so this is what it looks like directly on the course page. Students can click the button to read, and of course they can still full screen and go through. Okay. Now, what if this is too much, which I believe it is? It's kind of a lot to put on the course page. What if I wanted to put it in a page, right? I have that option as well. So I'm going to add an activity or resource, click on resources, choose page, okay, and I can give this page the name of the book. Control V to page, scroll down to page content, and the H5P option is here as well. All right, so I click on that, browse repositories, select the content I want to select this file, insert, scroll down, and save and return. Okay, so this is what it looks like in the page. So the student would have to click to access it. All right, they can click on read and they can still full screen. All right, so just showing you multiple ways within which the H5P can be placed in the course space. Okay. All right, so our next content type that we want to look at is interactive video. So this feature basically allows the teacher to make, you can make your own videos, but it's in a more attention grabbing and engaging manner. So for example, you can add pop-up text, you can add quizzes for the purpose of a quick recall, and you can add other types of interaction. So there is a interactive video here that I want to demonstrate. I'm going to click on it, and by the way, the video can be created by you and uploaded in the space, and then you can add the interaction to it, or it can be a YouTube video that you pull and add interaction to it. So let's just view this one here. Okay. All right, so ingredients list, let me just go back. Let me go back. So this is the first interaction, ingredients list. Once I click on it, the video pauses and the student will be able to view what the ingredients list is for this delicious smoothie. All right, once they close, so this is like a hotspot, right? So once they close, continue. We have a multiple choice quiz. All right, once they click on it, video pauses, they can enter their answer. So strawberry, check. Continue. All right, this one actually pauses the video for me, because you can choose if you want the video to be automatically paused upon an interactive content type in the video, or you can choose where when the student clicks on it, it actually pauses by itself. Okay, so highlight the ingredients that have been added thus far. All right, so I wasn't paying attention like that, but we're just selecting something. Okay, so it says you got 1 out of 2 correct. You need to pay closer attention. So seems as though I can do nothing because I'm clicking and I can't do anything. So it's taking me back to watch the intro again. All right, so you see that? But we're gonna quickly move down. All right, here's a drag and drop quiz. So what I want us to realize in the video where you're seeing these circles, this is where some interactivity has been inserted by the lecturer, where you're seeing these circles. So this is a drag and drop quiz. All right, and there's one more interactive content type or 2. Oops. All right, so this is serving tips. Okay. And then we have summary. Okay. Okay. All right, and of course at the end it gives a report of what you did and questions that you have answered and what your score is. Okay, so that is basically what the interactive video looks like. Now let's look at how we can create the interactive video. So remember, we're in the content bank. Remember that this is where you create all of your interactions at H5P. You click on add. From the menu listing, we're looking for interactive video. All right, so I'm going to click on that. Okay, and I am going to give my video a name. Okay, so I'm going to use the name that we have here just for the purpose of the demonstration. Okay, and it says it has 3 options or 3 steps: upload or embed a video, add interactions, and summary task. Okay, so where it says add a video, I'm going to click on the little button below, and you can upload your own video as stated before, or you can use a YouTube video. So I'm going to use the YouTube video link that I used earlier. Just going to copy and paste it. Control V to paste, and I am going to click on insert. Okay, now you would see options under each step. So under interactive video, you give the title of the video, so I can enter the title of the video here. You can give a short description. You can show an image before the video launches, which is a poster image, just ways to beautify your presentation. Okay, you can opt for subtitles to be shown if it is available for the video. Okay, there are behavioral settings. At what point do you want to start the video? You can enter the time code. So if you don't want the video to start at the 0 seconds, you can choose to start at 2 minutes or wherever. Do you want the video to be autoplay? Do you want the video to be looped? These are options that you can explore. Right? Do you want to show button for rewinding 10 seconds? You want to prevent skipping forward in a video, so you can restrict the students in that way. Do you want to deactivate the sound? All right, so there are a lot of options to explore when you are setting up the interactive video. So we have uploaded our video. We're going to now add interactions. Okay, now this is the video that we used earlier, and to add the interactions, it basically shows us here what we can drag and drop. We have label, text, table, link, image, statement, single choice. These are question types: multiple choice, true or false question. We have fill in the blanks, drag and drop, mark the words, drag the words, cross roads, sorry, navigation, hotspot. Okay, so for the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to be adding text, right? So it's like a hotspot where we give a pop-up of text. We're going to be adding a true or false question, and we're also going to be integrating a URL where students can click to read more. Okay, now I'm gonna let the video play a little bit. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here, and I'm going to ask a question. All right, so this was not pre-planned, so I'm just doing it as I go along. So I'm going to put here multiple choice. All right, and I'm going to call this question 1. Okay, and I'm just going to put in a random question. I'm not really following the video, so I'm going to type here: did the student properly recall all the assignment that he has complete? All right, just a question. Okay, now if I scroll up, because I paused on 16 seconds, that is why it is asking if I want this to be displayed at the 16-second mark. It also allows for you to select duration. It has 16 seconds to 26 seconds. Do I want this question to be displayed, sorry, for this amount of time? No. So I want it to be displayed at 16 seconds, but I want after the 20-second mark, it stops in terms of the display. That doesn't mean that if the student clicks on it, they can't spend over 4 seconds. It means how it is being shown on the video. All right, so I want it to pop up at 16 seconds and for it to be removed at 20 seconds. Do I want for the video to be paused once this comes up? Yes, I'm going to click on pause video. All right, how do I want this to be shown? As a button or a poster? If I select poster, I would have to add an image. I'm just going to select button for simplicity. All right, okay. Now label. This can be displayed next to the interaction. So I could call this multiple choice question, or I could call this question 1. Or I could say answer this question in relation to the video you are watching. Any type of text I want to display. All right, so now I have did the student properly recall all the assignment that he has to complete? I am going to put, actually probably this should have been a true or false question, but it doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to put yes, and the second option is going to be no. All right, so we're going to say that no is correct. And remember, as shown before, you can add tips and you can add feedback as necessary. Okay, we're gonna scroll up. There's a done button I'm looking for. All right, so at the bottom, so I'm going to click on done, not save, because we're not through the entire interactive video as yet. So done, and I am going to play what I have so far, and you can see the first circle because that is where the interaction is. All right, so I'm going to play this. So it's going to come up at 16 seconds. All right, and the video pauses automatically. So the student would click, I gave it the name question 1, the student would click and they'd be able to view the question. So I'm in preview mode. Well, I'm in edit mode, so I can't preview it. So I'll show you at the end. All right, so let's continue. So it should jump off at 20 seconds as I had just indicated. Good, that happens. Okay, So right here now, I am going to enter a hotspot text. Okay, so this is a 28-second mark. So I'm going to click on text, and I'm going to put the label. Okay, and I'm just going to add some text. You're going to just grab it from this document I've been working in. Control V to paste. Okay, and I am going to click on done. Okay, so if I go back here and I click on edit, at the top, as I had shown initially, you can choose a display time. I don't want this to stay for 10 seconds. So I'm just gonna put 3 seconds. So that's 28 to 31 seconds. Okay, and for this one, I'm opting for the video not to be paused. So the student would see it and click on it, and that would actually pause the video. All right, I opted for the MCQ one to be paused because I definitely want the student to attempt that question. Okay. All right, so I'm going to scroll down, click on done, and we are going to continue. Okay, so what I want to insert now is a URL, because suppose I want to send the student to an external website for additional information. And of course, this can be placed at the end, anywhere at all. All right, just showing you different interactions that you can add when you are using the interactive video. So for URL, I think it is this option here, link. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and I am going to call this click here for more information on educational technology. Good. And I'm going to enter the URL. I'm going to drag, I'm going to grab from the documents here. Okay, I'm going to right click and paste, or Control V. And I'm going to click on done. So before I click on done, I'm going to just change this from 40 seconds to 44 seconds, and done. Okay. All right. So let's say those are the only interactions we want to add for this. Mind you, we have a lot more that we could add. To move on to our step 3, we would click on step 3. Okay. And this is basically so it says the optional summary quiz will appear at the end of the video, just as we had seen for the other activities we did. So you can give this a name. So we can call this interactive video summary. Okay, what do you want the introduction text to be? Choose the correct statement. You have the summary for the set of statements that you can add here. All right, you can choose to add the statements. You can choose where you want that as well to be displayed. All right, so I'm just going to scroll down, click on save. All right, so we are assuming that we are still entering our interactions. We have entered the video, and we have everything that we want to present to the students in this video. So I'm going to scroll down, click on full screen. So I'm previewing now, so this would allow me to see everything in its entirety. And remember, the 3 circles that you're seeing show where the interactions are. So I'm going to start. All right, so the video pauses for the first question. Did the student properly recall all the assignment that he has to complete? No, check. All right, so now I can click to continue. So the 20-second mark, question 1 jumps off. All right, so we're approaching another interaction. So this time the video did not pause. So once I click on it, it pops up and it shows the text, the important text that I want my student to view. All right, and then they can click to close and the video continues. Alright, this says click here for more information on educational technology. So this time the video did not pause. Alright, and even when I clicked on it, it did not pause. So this basically opens a URL which is external to Moodle. Alright, so in this case, I would say opt to pause the video because the video continues even upon being clicked. Alright, so it basically shows a pop-up which was not displayed within this space. Okay, so at the end where you're seeing the star, so I'm going to just scroll all the way down to that. That basically shows the summary of the video. All right, probably I went a little bit too far. All right, so that was it. Yeah, I jumped off very quickly. Okay, right, so it basically shows a summary, the amount of questions answered, what the correct response was. So there's only one question. It shows a mark or the amount of time within which this question came in, which was a 16-second mark. Okay, and it shows a score because that was the only question within this interactive video. All right, so as said before, there are multiple interactions that you can insert, and you can create your own video, or you can pull a video from YouTube. So it only accepts videos from YouTube as it relates to integrating a link. So you'd have realized that when I was integrating the link, it has the option for YouTube. If there's a video that you have on an external site that you want to insert, you'd have to have the video downloaded to your computer. And of course, there are a lot of online websites or online software that you can use to pull videos from the internet. Keepvid.com is one of those. It allows you to download videos from external websites without a charge to you. Okay, we are gonna move on to our third option. Well, not option, our third interactive content type. But do we have a question before Dr. Telfo? Yes.
Yes, I wanted to find out. I realized when you were taking us to the first video that the option when the answer was incorrect, the only option was to go back to the beginning of the video. Is that the only option, or is it possible to give students an option to go back or to continue?
Right, so you get to decide what you want. So you can choose for those. So how the creator or the author of the video did that one, they selected the option for the student to go back to the intro of the video. But remember that you have the option. So remember when we had done the other ones, we had the option to allow the student to continue. You can allow for the student to jump to other points in the video as well, or you can allow them to retry the question, or you can take them back to the intro of the video. So you get to decide what you want the student to do if they have incorrectly responded.
Okay, yes, thank you.
All right, no problem. Do we have any additional questions before we move on? All right, Dr. White Barrow, no problem. The recording will be sent to you. All right, is everything clear thus far? Any questions? Okay, all right, I'll take silence as everything is fine. All right, so let us continue. The third interactive content type we're going to look at is image hotspots. So this content type allows for the addition of hidden elements to an image. So you can reveal audio, you can reveal videos, text, or more from the image hotspots when these hotspots are being clicked on. So let me just give us a demonstration. We're still in the content bank. All right, so this is what the image hotspots look like. So if I click on this, when I hover, it says strawberries. When I click, it shows a video, right, on what strawberries are and how to grow and harvest them, right? We have blueberries. When I click, it shows text. information on what the blueberry contains in terms of nutrients. All right, when I click on the raspberry,
hey, what's up
there's
everyone?
another
Today I'm
video.
going to show you how to make the...
All right, which one have I not clicked on here? Blackberry text. Okay, what we are going to do, we're going to do an image hotspot showing audio, video, and text. Okay, so when the student hovers, they'll see text, but when they click, they will see different content types. Okay, and remember that this is something as well that you could have added in the demonstration that we just did with the interactive video. All right, so it's the very same way. I am going to close this, add, we're looking for image hotspots. Okay, so I am going to call this have an image for input devices, I think, or output devices. All right, I'm going to call this devices based on the image I want to use, computer devices. Okay, and of course we need a background image. Okay, so I'm going to click on add. This is the image being shown in the background. So it's an image with input devices. Good. If I scroll down, it asks me what I want the hotspot icon to be like. Do I want it to be a predefined icon which the system already would have, or do I want to upload an image? I prefer simplicity for the demonstration, so I'm going to click on predefined icon, and I can choose what I want the icon to be. Okay, so I want the icon to be not a minus, times, check, question, or exclamation mark. I want it to be an info mark. So the info mark should be like an I, so the students would know that they should click to get more information on this particular input device. I can choose a color of the hotspot. All right, so I'm going to select orange. Good. So that basically means that the icon would be orange. Okay, so we have to pay keen attention now, close attention. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So this is the image I uploaded. I have to select the hotspot location or the hotspot position. So if I want the student to be able to, so typically I would hotspot all of the images, but for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to be hotspotting 3: mouse, keyboard, and trackball. Okay, so for mouse, I'm going to click on it. So I want the hotspot to appear at the center of the mouse device here. Good. I'm going to scroll down, and I want the pop-up content type to be text. Okay, so that basically means when the student clicks on the hotspot, they will see text. I can put an optional header for the pop-up, but because the word mouse is already there, that won't be necessary. All right, I could also say click to get more information on computer mouse. Okay. I'm going to grab the text. I think it's here. Okay, and I'm going to Control V to paste. Scroll down. I want to add another item. Okay, but I think it would be another hotspot as opposed to item. So that is text, and that is only for the mouse. So I'm going to remove this. Click on add hotspot. Right, since we're adding another hotspot, this time it would be to the keyboard. Okay, I am going to say, so I think I want to put a video here, so I'm going to say click here to watch a video on the computer keyboard. Okay. So the pop-up content as mentioned would be video. Good. So I am going to call this video computer keyboard. All right, when I click on video sources, I can upload a video, or I can insert a YouTube link. So it says that I can paste a YouTube link or other video source URL. I'd mentioned that only YouTube videos work because that's the experience I have had. when I paste video links from other websites, it does not show. I'd have to download it to my computer and then upload using the upload video file option. So I'm going to grab this video link from YouTube, Control V to paste and insert. Okay, so we have the hotspot for the keyboard as a video. And remember that we're not adding another item because we're not adding multiple hotspots to this particular to the video, to the computer keyboard, sorry, section of the video. All right, so we're going to add another hotspot and select trackball. Good. So I'm going to say this is an audio file. So I'm going to say, click here to listen to an audio recording on trackballs. All right, so from the pop-up content option, I have to select audio. Okay, for the title, I'm going to call this computer trackballs. Okay, going to click on source file. So it's not from the internet. I have the audio file on my computer, so I'm going to click to upload audio file, and I have the URL for where it is located on my computer here. I'm just going to paste that and select the audio recording I want to use. All right, so I'm going to scroll down, not adding any more items or hotspots because I'm finished. I'm going to click on save. Okay, so let's preview this to see what it looks like. So we have 3 hotspots, and we know because the eye icon is there. And remember, initially we had selected that we wanted the icon to be an information icon, hence the eye, and we had selected the color to be orange. Okay, so if I hover, it says click to get more information on a computer mouse. When the student clicks, it gives a pop-up, right, in the form of text. Okay, next is keyboard, gives a pop-up, and it doesn't go to YouTube. It actually has a little frame. The student can click to watch the video.
A keyboard and its function. A keyboard is...
All right, we close that, and we move on to, so it says click here to listen to an audio recording on trackballs. Okay, so with this, we did not select the option for the audio to be played automatically. So I'd have to click on this little icon here. A trackball is a pointing device consisting of a ball held by a socket. All right, to pause, I will click again. So let me just go back and edit to show you how you can allow the audio file to be played automatically, allowing the student to rewind if they want to, pause, or fast forward. So we're not seeing the option here to rewind or to fast forward. So I'm going to go back, click on edit. Okay, and I'm going to scroll down. The trackball was the last one I did, so it's all the way at the bottom. All right, so here it is. So there is an option that we should see that allows for the video to be played automatically. Right, so enable autoplay. This is it. So with autoplay, the audio starts playing automatically or immediately. So I'm going to enable that. I'm going to change the display to full. Okay, so that enables controls. They can pause the video if they want to. So let's save and preview that again. A trackball is a pointing device consisting of a ball held by a socket. So the student can fast forward and they can rewind. All right, and it's visible. The audio snippet is visible there. Okay. All right, so that is how you create the image hotspots. Okay, do we have any questions on this particular feature, this interactive content type? Mrs. Edwards? Can take them.
Afternoon again. So I want to be clear because I don't understand the hotspot as much, but I'll watch the video again, Mikilo. So the hotspot is really highlighting particular thing that you want them to be able to quickly, I don't know, because I see the icon over, the orange icon over the mouse and some other parts of the computer? Is it that it is particular thing that you want them to zoom at? The hotspot
Right.
that
So
are used for in
right.
this
So
case.
so with the image hotspots, it basically allows for you to creatively give your students more information on whatever it is that they're viewing. So in this case, the picture, right? So it doesn't have the information displayed readily on the page. So you use now the little hotspots, the little hotspot features to place additional information on that same image. So they would have to click. So the information is there, but it is hidden. So you basically
Oh,
want them to click to get more information, whether through text, through audio, through video, through a table, different presentation types, right? So it's a creative way of content presentation as opposed to having the book, for example, with all the information there.
okay.
And it's also a way in which you can creatively label an image as well. So you can label the image with hotspots for more information on different sections of that image.
Okay, understood now, Michaela. Thanks.
All right, no problem. Do we have any more questions? Okay. All right, so let us move on. We have 5 to do. We are at number 4 of 5. The fifth interactive content type is drag and drop text. Okay, and this is like a quiz question type that allows you to create text-based challenges where your students basically have to drop or well drag words and drop them into blank spaces within a sentence, right? And of course, this is excellent in education for language training, among many other things. Very easy to set up. Let's go. So let me just give a demo of what it would look like. Okay, so it can be sentences or it can be a listing. So in this case, it is a listing. You can creatively design it how you want it to appear. All right. So blueberries are, so I'm gonna drag and drop blue. Okay, and there's a little I here because a tip is being shown. So if the student clicks on it, it says check the name of the berry. Okay, strawberries are red, cloudberries are orange. All right, just having a little issue dropping this one. Yeah, not sure what's happening here. Okay, so I guess we have to wait until it's highlighted blue before we drop it. Okay, all right, so the students would then check their answer and it would show what the results are. So I'm gonna refresh. Okay, so when I drag, you realize it highlights blue. That doesn't mean it's correct. It means that I'm able to drop it. All right, let me just put this one here, get the blue highlight, we drop. All right, the blue highlight and we drop. Okay, so if we check, it gives a summary of what the answer is, what the answers we submitted as a student are, and what the solution is. And if we want to retry, that option is there as well. So this is very quick and easy to create, and you're not limited to the amount of content that you can insert for the drag and drop. Okay, so back into our content bank, we're going to add this. So there are 2 drag and drop options. We have drag and drop and we have drag the words. I think this is for images, this is for text. All right, so it's drag the words that we're looking at. And we are going to call this drag and drop activity. Okay, task description, this is there as default. Drag the words into the correct boxes. I'm gonna say drag the words into the correct spaces. Okay, and this, what I like about the H5P, it shows it gives you a sample or example rather of what your text should look like. Okay, so it doesn't have to look like this. It could be displayed in the format that we just got a demonstration of, or it can be displayed in this format. What it is telling you is that the text that you want the student to drag and drop, it should be surrounded by asterisks, right? So in this case, Oslo is in asterisk, Stockholm, Copenhagen, Scandinavian, all of this text is in asterisk, surrounded by asterisks. All right, so that is the format that we have to observe for the creation of the drag and drop. So I have some text. I have some text here that I'm going to just drag, copy, and I'm going to paste it here. So this is a sentence. So the answers that or rather the words that I want the student to drag and drop, it has to be surrounded by asterisks. So technology, I want them to drag and drop this word. Technology refers to all the ways people use their inventions and discoveries to satisfy their needs and desires. We have to ensure there's no space between the word and the asterisk. All right. It is derived from the word techne. So I'm going to put techne in asterisks. All right. And the art or craft of responding to our educational needs has to do with educational technology. I'm going to put these as well, have them surrounded by the asterisks. So it's as simple as that, right? And if it is a case where I wanted to have them like in a matching format, I could have, let's say, the definition of the word here. Definition, whatever the definition of technology is, I could have it here, and then I could have the word beside it, right? And I could do it going down in this particular way if that is how I want it to be displayed. I hope that's clear. So I'm just gonna save this so you can see what it looks like. This is more of a matching type of a thing, matching format or matching display. All right, and the other one is like a sentence display. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna scroll down, click on save. Okay, and that is what it looks like. So we can opt for the matching or we can opt for the sentence. So I just did both just to show you. Okay, so technology refers to all the ways in which, all right, it is derived from the word techne, and educational technology is the art or craft of responding to educational needs. Okay, so very simple. So you can choose which format you want to use for the drag the word activity, drag the words activity. All right, and of course, once the student is through, they would click on check and it would show them what is correct. They can opt to see the solution, they can retry. If I click on edit, you would be able to see that you can set up the feedback for scoring. So you can add ranges. So let's say you want to add a range for 0 to 50. This basically means that they would get a feedback, this particular feedback, if they received a score in this range. And you can select, you can add rather the ranges that you want to display that feedback upon. Okay, for behavioral settings, you can choose to enable or disable these options. You just saw them at the end because by default they are enabled, or you can opt to give the student instant feedback. All right, we have text override and translations. These are options that we don't normally change because we want the word for check to remain as check, we want the word for submit to remain as submit. But if you so desire to change these options, you can just show me that they are there. Okay, so when it comes on to H5P and knowing how to, what I like is that there are tutorials for all. So if I click on tutorial, just open it in a new word, it shows you a tutorial for this particular activity. That is actually where I grabbed this from. Okay, and it shows you how to set up. So I'm gonna also send you this there. A tutorial is there for all and demo is there for all of the different interactive content types that you can insert. Okay, it shows you even more than what is displayed here as it relates to what you can do and what you can't do. Okay, so it basically shows you all of what I just demonstrated here. If you want to add a hint, remember we had seen this little hint option here for the student. If you want to add a hint, you can, but you'd have to put it has to be preceded by a colon. you'd have to put the colon here, and then you put the hint, and remember the asterisk has to fall at the end. Okay, so I will definitely be sharing with you this very useful resource. And as I said before, it details every single interactive content type and how you can set them up, and it also shows a preview of what the content type is like before you decide how best to integrate it or if it might be useful for you. Okay, do we have any questions on the drag the words activity before we move on to our last and final activity? Okay, all right, Mrs. Anderson Chung, you can take the mic.
Okay, thank you. As relates to including additional response options that the students can choose in the drag and drop, is it possible? There are incorrect responses, but we want them to be able to identify which is the correct one to drag and drop and all of that. Does that possibility exist here?
Okay, so you're referring to you're basically referring to the addition, sorry,
Right.
of more words,
Right.
as opposed to showing them all the correct options, right?
Right.
So that is something I've never explored. That's an excellent question. Let us see if that is something that we can do. All right, so I suppose so, because it allows you to just add words in asterisks without you indicating where
Okay.
to put it.
Awesome.
So let's just test it.
Awesome. Yeah, okay, awesome.
And good question.
But then what would happen there though is that you'd have the space highlighted for something to be dropped there.
But they still wouldn't
Right.
know. So let's say it's just technology, technique, and educational technology. You're actually trying to confuse them or make this challenge a little bit more difficult by also giving more words. So really and truly, that they wouldn't know what goes where, because all the words would be shown to the right. So let me just scroll
All
down
right,
and
let us see how that goes.
right. So so there are actually slots for them here.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah.
But it won't work. All right, fine.
Yeah, it would work for true.
I think I know how to get around that though.
Yeah, but that's a good
Thank you.
question. I guess it can be played with, yeah, to see how best.
All right, thanks.
All right. Okay. All right. So do we have any more questions before we go on to our final activity or final interactive content type? Okay. All right. So the final content type we want to look at is flashcards. Okay. So it's a very simple but interactive feature that allows us to create a set of stylish cards that can have images paired with questions and answers. So a quick demonstration of that. Okay, so the student would see this. So this is one that we can't full screen. All right, so the student would see this green sour fruit. So the answer and the picture, based on the picture is there, is lime. Okay, so that is correct. And it automatically moves on to the next question. Can be both sour and sweet. So this is cherry, and it shows a progress bar at the bottom as well. All right, next question, sweet red berries. I'm gonna answer incorrectly for this one. Cloudberry. All right, so it says correct answer is strawberry, but it advances. I'm going to check to see if student can reattempt incorrect questions. Sour orange fruit. All right, so I know this is not orange, so this might be, could it be grapefruit? Or it could be orange. Oh, okay, it says orange is the correct answer. And this one is apple. Okay. All right, so the student would click to show their results, and it shows what the correct answer is, what answer you inserted as well. All right, and there's an option to retry. Okay. This This is very useful in more ways than one because it kind of pulls us away from the use of the conventional quiz activity, right? And it kind of shows us a different way in which we can embed the question, just a different presentation of the question, all right? And it allows for the insertion of images, which kind of helps to engage the student as well. All right, I'm going to create this. So this is called a flashcard. So add flashcard. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this flashcard activity. Okay, task description. Yes, what is the name of this device? Okay, and card 1 is the first page that we have here. Okay, so we're going to put the question. Okay, so I have this already set up. So the question is going to be used for inputting text. The answer is going to be keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to click to add the keyboard image. Okay, we can put an alternative text for the image in the image that the image does not show. All right, we can also choose to add a tip. Okay. All right, and then we're going to click on add card. For the second card, we're going to follow suit. So question. So the question, it can be a statement and it can be a question with a question mark at the end. This for content selection, mouse. Okay, so I'm going to click on add and I'm going to add a picture of a mouse. Good. Going to add our third card, an output device for sound. Okay, answer speaker. Okay, add. Okay, and then one more, an output device for information display. Okay, and then this would be monitor. So you're seeing the answer there because it's already saved. Right, add monitor. And remember that we can add tips if we want to. Okay, you can also opt for the students' response to be case sensitive if that is important to you. All right, so probably this might be useful in the case where their response is an abbreviation. You don't want it to be common letters but all caps. Yeah, probably in a case like that. Okay, so what we just did, we just entered the different cards. So it's flashcards. We just entered the different cards, the information for the different cards, sorry. So we had the question and the answer and the image that represents that particular question. And we inputted for 4 cards, right? I don't think you're limited to the amount of cards that you can add. And I explained earlier how this particular activity might be useful for your students. So we're going to click on save. Okay, this activity cannot be full screen. What is the name of this device? It is used for inputting text. If the student hovers, sorry, on the hint it says it allows for typing. The device allows for typing. All right, so I'm going to enter keyboard. Check. Okay. So it automatically advances. So that is a setting that I was not able to control just now. All right, but we're gonna go back to edit surely to see if I've entered the incorrect response, if it is that. So for example, if I enter speaker here and check, it still advances. So we want to check to see if that option can be disabled where the student has to retry, get it right before they advance. Okay, so speaker. check. And then lastly, an output device for information display, monitor, check. Okay, and show results, and it shows the results here. So I realized we did not have the option as well to modify in terms of the background color. Let's click on it to see if we overlooked that. All right, so we have the tutorial, the example. All right, so the only options we have are the options for the hint, which is a tip text, the alternate option. All right, so there are absolutely no options as it relates to getting the student to retry the option. All right, so this is just a replacement of text. These are text overrides and translations. The only option that we have, so require user input before the solution can be viewed, right? So that's the only option. So this, we cannot control how the flashcards flow. All right, so this might not necessarily be great for a graded activity, but rather for probably like a practice activity for the student. Okay. All right, so we have come to the end of today's session. If you have any questions, you may go ahead and raise your hand, or you can take the chat. Remember that what we did mostly today, we created them in the content bank. You might be wondering how or why aren't you seeing the option for deletion or for renaming. You have to select the activity you want to delete or rename before that will be possible. So if I click on the drag and drop activity, it gives me the gear option top right, so I can make it unlisted, which is basically hiding it, right? I can rename it, I can replace it with a file, I can download it to my computer, or I can delete it. Good. So if I click on delete, it prompts, are you sure you want to delete? I click on delete. Yes. If I wanted to rename this activity, click on it, same option, and click on rename, and it allows me to give it name, drag. Oops, not sure what happened there. Let's try that again. Rename, drag the words, name. Okay, so it says the content has been renamed. Let us close and view. We can see that there. Okay, and let's say you have rather the H5P activity on your computer, because the site I just went to, you can create them from here if you want to. You can create a free account. I said before, it's a free space. You can create your activity for free. All right, so you would click on examples and downloads. You can click on interactive video, and then at the bottom it asks, would you like to create your content like this on your own? You can click on get started. You can actually reuse or embed the content that you have created here. So to do that, once you have created your video, bottom left you will see the option that says reuse, okay, and download as an H5P file. So once you download it, so if I click to download, it is now on my computer. I could come back to Moodle and I would click on upload, and I can just drag and drop it in this box here. All right, save changes. Okay, and voila, it is there. All right, so it can be created from Moodle or from the H5P space. Remember that it is not limited to being exported to Moodle only. Remember that it can be done on other learning management systems. For example, Blackboard Learn. You have websites, for example, WordPress, that allows for you to actually embed these content types. I think there's a listing, right? So H5P, Canvas, Brightspace, Blackboard Learn, Moodle, WordPress, and there are more. Actually, there are more websites, but because we primarily use Moodle, UTech Online, for content presentation, it was demonstrated in this particular platform. Okay, do we have any questions before we go today? Please remember to leave your email address. Once the session is over and I receive the recording, it will be sent to you. Somebody's asking if a crossword puzzle can be used. Mrs. Jones Fraser, I think there's an option for that. Add crossword, yes. So you can create a crossword. And remember that you can view the example if you are lost as to how to. All right, so this is a preview of a crossword puzzle, right? And these are the across down information being entered. And yeah, you can.
We're no longer seeing it. You had stopped sharing.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me just quickly reshare my screen. Right, so you should be seeing my screen now. Right, so I was just saying that the option is there, so you can add, scroll down on the list, crossword, click on it. Okay, and you can create your own crossword puzzle. You can click here for an example. Okay, so it basically shows one that has been created on the H5P site. Okay, and if you want to create your own, you can click here to get started. All right, you can go through the tutorial and you can create it within this space, within your own course. All right, that's Mrs. Burton. Right. Oh, Mrs. Jones Fraser, sorry, Mrs. Jones Fraser. Mhm. Okay, do we have any other questions? All right, so if there are no additional questions, I want to thank you again for attending today's session. We will, at the end of the session, once the recording is available, that will be sent to you once your email address was left, as well as I will send the link to the H5P official website. Okay, I will send this link here. You can select the content type that you want to create and it will show a tutorial for that content type. All right, so that ends today's session. Mrs. Edwards can take the mic.
Good afternoon. I want to find out if and when we create these interactive book and puzzles and so forth, if there is, well, probably we're gonna have to play with it, I suppose. But I'm asking, is it that I could probably export it and save it on my device for use outside of the Moodle system?
Yes, yes. So remember, I was saying earlier that there are some other sites that so once a site supports LTI integration, and it tells you here, that basically means that you can insert the content type within that platform. So it's not just Moodle, it gives a listing. If you click on more, it will show that listing. How do you export it though? Within the content bank, you would click on the interactive activity you want to export. So drag the words. Let's say I wanted to download this. I would click on the gear icon and there's a download option. I would click on download and it's downloaded to my computer. All right, so
Excellent.
you'd be able to import it now in a space that allows for LTI integration. All right. I think LTI stands for Learning Technology Interoperability. So it's basically a format or a standard that supports the interactive H5P element. All right. Are there any more questions before we go? You are most welcome, everyone in the chat. Okay, thanks for attending again. And see you in our next session. Everybody continue to keep safe and all the best. Goodbye.
But thanks, Ms. Fair. The session was very clear. Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you.